we are here today with the WNBA Executive Committee, the players who are helping to coordinate some of these decisions. I am here with Players Association President Nneka Ogwumike of the LA Sparks, Layshia Clarendon from the New York Liberty, Sue Bird of the Seattle Storm, Elizabeth Williams from the Atlanta Dream, and Natalie Achonwa from the Indiana Fever. And 6 teams decided not to play last night, Nneka. I know there was a players-only meeting and a candlelight vigil last night. What have you come together on? Will there be games tonight?
So thanks, Holly, for having us, of course. As we had such a heavy day last night, we also decided today to take games off, of which I hope can be elaborated upon in a statement that we've prepared that I'll read right now. The players of the WNBA used today to reflect. Following yesterday's decision to stand in solidarity with NBA players and Black and brown communities in Wisconsin and around the country, we will continue demonstrating our solidarity by not playing today. It is important to note that this is not a strike. This is not a boycott. This is affirmatively a day of reflection, a day of informed action and mobilization. Through ongoing conversations last night, in person, and discussions through the morning via extensive text messages, we recommitted to the justice movement, the platform for our advocacy, and recommitted to the Say Her Name campaign. We are doubling down on our previous calls to action to contact your local officials and demand reform, register to vote and show up on Election Day, complete the 2020 census, and be counted. Today, we call upon Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron to arrest the officers that killed Breonna Taylor. Today, we call upon the Wisconsin Attorney General, Josh Kaul, to investigate the officers who were involved in the shooting of Jacob Blake. Let us not let up seeking justice for Sandra Bland, Michelle Cusseau, Shelley Fry, Corinne Gaines, India Kager, Kayla Moore, Layleen Polanco, Michelle Shirley, and other Black and brown women who were victims of police violence. If you're watching or listening and you understand the humanity in the movement for Black lives and you recognize that your voice matters, do not remain idle. Demand that your leaders step up and take real action. Do something today.
It's important to note, Nneka, that this is a movement that is unified across the league, and all of the WNBA players who are here in the bubble in Bradenton, Florida, are standing by at IMG Academy. This was the safest way to show their solidarity and unity. They are standing in strength together. Layshia, this has been an emotional time for everyone. People are frustrated, they're hopeless, they are helpless. And as we look at those strong women locking arms, how has this impacted all of you? Your mental health, your emotions as you navigate this?
It's been tough, Holly. It's been really hard. And as you said, last night we had a vigil. I think a vigil that was very long overdue, that we kind of could have even had the first day when we came in the bubble, because we're all dealing with so much hurt and pain and loss in all of 2020. And people forget that we're athletes, but we're not machines. So we show up every day. We have to perform through anything that's going on in the world. And so at this time, it just was, we needed a pause. We needed a break. We needed a moment of healing, of reflection, of pause, because it's been heavy and it's been really difficult to carry every single day. So we're just trying to figure out how to have that self-care for ourselves, to protect ourselves, to protect how hard it is to play in the bubble. And we really encourage everyone, because self-care looks different for everybody, to figure out what it looks like for you every day. And I'm glad we could do that as a collective for each other.
Sue, I know that we talked about this is not just not playing basketball. This is bigger than that, and that you want clear, actionable items that people in their communities can take to enforce change and make change. What are you passionate about?
I think I've made it known. I think we've all made it known. Voting is that actionable item. And, affecting change comes in a lot of forms. And as important as it is to be in the streets, to be out protesting, to keeping that energy up, we got to take that energy to the polls, because people like Daniel Cameron are voted into their position. People like the DA, the AG in Wisconsin voted into their position. So if you want to create that change and you want officials in office that represent your values, you have to go out and vote. You have to take your pain. You have to take your frustration. You have to take that energy and you got to take it to the polls. It's that simple for us.
Elizabeth Williams of the Atlanta Dream, you have been very vocal about being an activist and organizing. Those are two very different things, but what is important that the WNBA women are showing as a great example of activism and organization?
Yeah, it's obviously important to have people out protesting, people out on the front lines making those statements, but you also have to have the organizational aspect with it. So, that looks like organizing, making sure people are registered to vote so that they can vote. Making sure that, everybody's on the same page. And for that effective change to happen, like Sue was saying, we want to make sure that in addition to having the passion and the voices out there, we're strategic and we're intentional about how we move forward.
Natalie Achanwa of the Indiana Fever, I've seen comments. We all see the comments on social media. We all see oh, don't make it political. It's not politics, just play basketball. But this is human. This is a real human toll this is taking on people. How are you navigating that piece of it for you and all of your teammates?
I think for us as players, it's important to look that it's beyond basketball. It's bigger than me as a basketball player. When I take that jersey off, I'm a black woman. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. I'm a cousin. And when I see people that are being gunned down in our communities, it's a reminder that that could have been my brother, that could have been my uncle, that could have been anyone in my family, and that it's bigger than basketball, and that these lives that we're losing are people. The humanity and the empathy of it needs to be echoed every single day, and that we don't get desensitized to it because it's unfortunate, but that we make sure that we are valuing the lives and we realize that it's just bigger than this moment, it's bigger than us as athletes, that these are real people we are talking about in real lives that are important, that are valued, and that matter.
As we see that shot of all the players in unity and solidarity at IMG Academy, you are organized. I don't think we have ever seen this in sports history, that an entire league is standing arm in arm together in solidarity. How beautiful is this moment for you to see the organization of these women?
I mean, it's us. It's what we're about. It's embedded in us. Quite frankly, yesterday we had the opportunity to be a part of history. You were there, Holly. We were on this court trying to figure out what we were going to do. But one thing that we all agreed on is that what we do it together. And we've always had our own backs. And I think it's important for us to realize, too, that in these moments, as my ECS said, it looks different for everyone. And for us, this is what it looks like. And this is what has worked for us. And it's not new to us. We live this every day. Ever since I've been a WNBA player, we've always worked in unison, not just with the players, but with the staff. I mean, look what we've been able to do here today. Holly, we couldn't do this without you. And we just want to demonstrate that. We want to serve as that example for our communities.
This is a powerful group of women. This executive committee has negotiated a new bargaining agreement, a new bubble scenario. You have negotiated so many things, and one of those things you've had to negotiate is, will you resume the season? That has been a topic of conversation. So as you met as players together last night, what was the decision to continue moving forward and playing basketball?
Obviously today, we took today to reflect, and we took today to really consider organizing and mobilizing. But, and I'm going to give Sue credit to this because she spoke about this last night. There are times in history and times like when you have your platform where standing in solidarity works. And for us as women, that looks very different. We wanted to stand with our brethren yesterday, and we did. But we came here for a reason, and that was to amplify our voices. And the only way that that happens is if we're out here. And so that's what we are here to do. We're here to recommit that passion that we have behind amplifying our voices for each other and for our communities moving forward. And that's what we're here to let everybody know. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep doing it on the court and off the court.
I know there's been a lot of meetings. I know there's been texts back and forth of you communicating with your NBA brethren. And although they don't determine what you do, what have some of those conversations been like with the NBA in making these decisions?
I've been in communication with Chris, especially since we've both been in bubbles for the last few weeks. Last night, I was able to talk with him briefly, and he was grateful for us to stand in solidarity with them. and obviously said that he had our backs as well. We're still working, of course, in the middle of all of this, managing emotions, mental health, and physical well-being is, you know, in the same way, to figure out how we can continue to keep those conversations alive, and how they have come to us to try and hold space for us to be in those conversations to truly affect change in the way that we know that our platforms can.
And your platforms have been powerful. People are watching, people are excited about the games and about what you're saying. Do you know when you'll get back to playing basketball? What is your feeling of when that will be appropriate?
I mean, I feel like as a group, we decided last night that we want to play. And there are games scheduled tomorrow, and that's what we're ready to do. But that doesn't come without, of course, demands of players to continue to amplify our voices in more ways than when we came here. You know, we realize that the work is not easy, but we also understand that the work is never done. And there are things that happen that just allow us times to take a moment. That's fair. We can take a moment. And that moment, we came together and we decided that, you know, we need time for ourselves to come back, regroup, and continue to amplify our voices and be there for our communities and demand change from the leaders that are representing us right now.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here and so eloquently explaining how passionate and personal this is for all of you. I would like to give a special shout out to all of the women who are standing arm to arm at the IMG Academy, showing their complete unity and solidarity in this moment, that this is a league that stands together, they fight together, they play together, and this is the moment that they are using their collective voices to bring attention to the issues that matter to them.